Hi there, beautiful family, and greetings from the forest. And I'm checking in today because I wanted to share something from personal experience with you that may be helpful if you're going through big feelings of um, discomfort, kind of like being squeezed, and I always think of the diamond that needs to be under pressure in the coal for it to be formed, for it to become a diamond. And as we move through our processes individually and collectively of awakening, we hit times where we have this intense feelings of pressure, like being squeezed. And that really came up for me big time yesterday. Now, we have to remember that some of that is coming from within us in our processes. The energy starts to move through and awaken in our being, and some of it is what we're feeling also collectively. And sometimes that can feel super overwhelming, especially if you're living in an area like in the city, or perhaps you're in lockdown in an apartment, or perhaps you haven't got access to nature. Then it can feel very intense at times, very, very pressure filled. And, we're human beings, not human doings. And it amazes me how quickly we forget simply just to be. And what does that really mean? Just have a little think for a moment about how much of your day, how much of your time is spent with your head in your device, whether it be your laptop or your phone. How much of the day is spent figuring things out, using the mind, always engaging in this process of thinking, so much so that it takes us all the way away from being truly present and in the being. And the irony is that in the being so much is getting done, but we've been so conditioned to think that we have to be constantly on the go, constantly creating, constantly doing something, that we very rarely actually stop and rest in our being. And for me, even though I give myself space for being every day, I could feel that my cup was really, really full, and not of the good stuff, full of too much thinking, too much processing, too much figuring out, and I really, really needed to empty it. And when I hit these moments where I feel, usually what it comes from me is irritability and frustration. And, I always go through a process of going in and having a look at what that's about and where that's from and why that's arising. But ultimately, it always comes back to it being a signal from my inner being that it's time for stillness, that it's time to return to my center, that I've been wobbled off my center, and to return to being. So when this arose for me yesterday, and the thing is when it comes, it's such an uncomfortable feeling, but this is what in shamanism we call the binding principle. It's like the energy of the serpent, for example, the boa constrictor, where it wraps itself around you and it squeezes and forces and almost crushes you to the point where then you pop through. We also refer to this as the dark night of the soul, or these heavy processes that we go through, but we always pop through into more light. So that's number one, is to remember that when these feelings that you just want to get out of your skin, you just don't want to be in your body at all, you want to run, right? But every time we have one of these sensations, we often call them mind attacks, and the mind attacks always get worse the closer you become to really remembering permanently the truth of who you really are, to really awakening. The mind attacks get stronger and stronger. The ego mind will throw up all kinds of things to kind of stand in your way of being fully liberated and free, because then it doesn't get fed anymore once you reach that point. So it's to know that when these mind attacks come, that they come as an opportunity, they come as a gift for us to be able to work with the feelings, with the sensations that are there, and to move beyond them. And so welcoming the feeling, trying your hardest not to project what you're feeling onto a story or a person. That's really difficult, because that's what we're conditioned to do. Whenever we feel something uncomfortable, rather than lean into it, we lean away from it. So the trick is just to continue to breathe, feel all the sensations of the feeling, try not to project or label it as anything, and know that it will pass. And take it as a call from your inner being, from nature, to stop, to find some stillness. If you can get into nature, I mean, just a few hours here in this forest, and not even a few hours, it was actually 15 or 20 minutes. I came and sat and I meditated here in this forest, and incredibly I just came back to the aliveness in my body. Nature has everything that we need. The spirit of nature has all of the healing. She always directs us back to ourselves, because we are a part of nature. And if you can allow yourself to receive the energy of nature, then you can move through things much more quickly. So if you've got that opportunity, whether it's winter or it's summer, to get out and let yourself be healed by nature, that's one of the quickest ways to come through. And know that every time you crack through one of these mind attacks, that you are one step closer to being fully liberated. So try not to get frustrated with yourself. Try not to get irritated with yourself. Just allow the process. Doesn't mean that you're any less awake or any less enlightened, or that you're going backwards on your path. In fact, it's actually saying that you're moving forward at a rate of knots. So celebrate that and enjoy the pop-throughs when they happen. And remember to be kinder and gentler on yourself when they arise again. Because, you know, you can say to these feelings that you're ready, you know, that now that you've learned how to allow, accept, and embrace them, I always say bring it on. But these feelings don't wait until you're ready. They come out of left field when you're not ready to take you off guard, and that's the practice. So another one popped through, and feeling very, very clear myself today. Very switched on and very happy to be out of the city. There's lots of riots going on near where I am at the moment, and I definitely have been feeling that crazy energy in my field. So coming back to myself, back to nature and digital detox has been the best thing ever. All right, beautiful family, I love you. Bye for now.